The Colorado Avalanche lose this one to the Toronto Maple Leafs in, stop me if you heard this before, overtime. So let's talk about that on a new episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Locked On Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Micieli. Joining me as always, Mr. Zach Pearson. Thank you for tuning in, making this your first listen of the day, and for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in the country. And if you want to get in on our conversation, join our Everydayer Club. Link is in the show notes below or on your screen if you're watching over on YouTube. You get connected to our Discord channel. You chat with us there and other Avs fans. You get access to our subtext where we share thoughts from that on the episodes as you've heard many times before, and exclusive content that Zach and I put up. Zach puts up his power rankings weekly. I do some stat casts after games and some anger from my car sometimes that I'm recording. When something hits me and I'm driving, I'll record it and put it up for the everydayers. So road rage, as we like to say. Condensed road rage. I don't drive people off the roads or anything like that. So, but yeah, sign up for that. Be great if you did. Thank you. So, all right, let's dive into this thing, man, because this game was, first of all, it was an entertaining game. I thought it was a fun game, and it's ones like this where you hate to come out on the losing side of these ones because you have opportunities. It's so many opportunities, and you did good things in this game to win you the game, and then you did some bad things in this game that lost you the game. So it's one of those, for me, like 50-50 games where it's like I don't want to be too mad because I liked how they played, right. But this was one of the games where the good things that they didn't separate them enough from Toronto, and eventually, Toronto hung around and I want to say hung around. They had the lead, so it's not like they were like battling the entire time. But sometimes you just end up on the losing side of games like this.
Well, and the Bobby McCann goal to tie it in the second period was a little rough. That's a rough breakaway to give up there. I actually think Trent Miner. I want to start off. I know we're going to play or talk about him. Sorry, I read play, but we're going to talk about him. But I thought he played a really good game overall. I don't really have a problem with him. Would I love to have seen him save the breakaway? Absolutely. But that was a good shot by McCann, and he was fast. I think that was a bad turnover in the Avs committed there. That was Olofsson, if I'm not mistaken. And
yes, yeah,
it happens. I'm not too concerned about his play. I think he did well. The whole second period, it was weird because the first period was like, okay, yes, Toronto scores first, but the Avalanche sort of control, and they get the 2 goals to take the lead, and you're feeling really good. The second period, they only let up the 1 goal, but I didn't feel great about that period at all. The whole 20 minutes, I just kind of wish you could erase, and you almost do, because tie game going into the third, I should feel better about that. Really, really hard to be too disappointed with that Auston Matthews goal. That was kind of ridiculous.
That's like, I only wish you could do things like that. Like, I find it fun, like guys like that, like he's a superstar, and I find it funny when guys like, people try to like nitpick and try to like come up with ways for him to not be one. He is, and he's incredible. And shots like that are just like, you just have to say, you got to tip your hat. Like,
yep. So, I mean, the 3 goals that you let up in regulation, you have a deflection off a Brent Burns skate. You got a really good breakaway off a bad turnover and a great shot from McCann. And you have Auston Matthews showing that he really is a super high-end elite player. So I can't be too angry, especially not at Trent Miner for any of those 3. On the flip side, you've got Martin Nečas with a awesome shot to tie it up, towards the end of the game. You've got Brock Nelson getting a power play goal, which makes the Avs 1 for 3, which is exactly what I've said I want. Like, give me 33.3%, and I will be happy with the power play. And that's what they did. So I can't turn go back on that now. I would have loved to have seen him score on that last power play to end the game. You get one with 2.5 minutes left, tied.
That's the thing. Like you can say, like, 1 for 3 is good, and it's fine, but it's also timely. Like, what is the timeliness of the power plays?
Exactly.
And they're all good. Whenever you score on a power play, it's always a good thing. And it was a good thing when the one that they scored would have been nice to get that one too. Just the timeliness of the power play goals, especially in that situation, would have been nice.
Absolutely would have been. And I actually thought the power play looked decent on the last one. I didn't like the second power play it was the second power play where they did not score as well. The Brock Nelson one, obviously, you love seeing him score in 5 seconds.
Loved it.
Nobody's going to be upset with that.
Yeah.
It was win the face-off, get the pass back, come back up to MacKinnon, gets into the middle of the ice. Brock Nelson does what Brock Nelson does. Absolutely loved everything about that. It was good setup. It was aggressive. It's everything we've asked for. And then you have to talk about the Martin Nečas setup for Cale Makar's goal.
It's funny because it was almost like Cale Makar's move, the Chicago move, the overtime one, where you're just breaking ankles, and just the fact that goal went in, because it's so tough. Like, you always see like guys making incredible moves, and then either they don't score on, or it doesn't materialize into a goal, and you're always talking about the move. But now you're talking about that in total of the move, the pass, the shot, the goal, everything all in one package is highlight reel moment. So you get those two things like back to back, that Nečas move and the Brock Nelson goal. And you're feeling good. But like you said, like the mistakes, like you had the turnover. We'll get to overtime. We're going to get to overtime later. But the breakaway goal, like that stuff just can't happen. Like that's a face-off in your offensive zone.
Yeah.
Can't happen. Can't do it. I don't put it on Trent Miner. The breakaways are tough. Breakaways are difficult. So I don't know.
Especially for a kid his age. I mean, I know he's not really a kid, but he's an up-and-comer. He's not established NHL goaltender. Mm-hmm. He plays more for the Eagles. He's playing great, and I really got to give him a lot of credit because I thought he made some awesome saves. A couple of really good moves, a couple of really good pushes, getting into good position. I liked everything about his game. I can't think of who took the shot, but the one where he pushed himself from his left to his right and got the blocker out right above his right pad on the post.
In overtime or in because there's one in overtime.
I think this one was in regulation. I can picture the goal. I can't picture the save rather, but I can't picture the situation. Either way, I think he played great.
Yeah, I want to get to him a little bit more in the second segment, but just to kind of like summarize this game is like we've been talking about. Like I thought the Avs did a lot of good things in this game. I thought they did enough good things to win this game. And when we've seen them do that a lot this year of doing enough to win games. So it's as far as this year goes, it's like you're not used to seeing the Avs do the number of good things that they did and lose the game. So I think that's a little bit credit to Toronto for sticking in this game, and they came out with the extra point. And a lot of it is, I'm sure the Avalanche are kicking themselves in the butt this morning or the next morning, saying like, I think we let that one go. And I just hope it's not, and I don't think it is, but I hope that it's not. The Avs are kind of just expecting wins right now. Maybe as fans we are. I don't think players are, because they know what they're going up against. They know they're going up against professionals that want to win too. And like we said in the episode before this game, Toronto is starting to turn things around, and they were going to use this game as, okay, this is the best in the league. Where's our game at compared to the best in the league? And they're feeling really good. They're feeling good about coming away and stopping the win streak, the home win streak. You did that in the process too, Toronto.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they feel good. And for the Avs, okay, you got a point. That is what it is. But I think there's a lot left on the table that the Avs are not liking about this game, where they can point to a handful of things, overtime included, that they can say, we should have put this game away here. We should have put this game away here and here and here. And, we gave up this opportunity. So it's just, and that is the randomness of the sport of hockey too.
For sure.
But I don't think the Avs are going to use that as an excuse. I think they're going to use we should have been more in command and control of this game. And they were at times, and then they were not. And then they were, and then they were not. It was so 100%. Back and forth. So, I mean, it made for an entertaining game, but I'm sure, Jared Bednar and that roster doesn't feel that way. They're feeling, no, we need to be in command the entire season.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, really entertaining game. If it was two teams and neither one of them were the Avalanche, I would have loved every single second of that game all the way through when you're not vested in a team.
Yep.
When it is the Avs, you're like, well, I know it would be boring, but I'd be okay with every game being an 8-2 thumping or a 10-2 if you're Boston, apparently. But I would love that. But yeah, it was a really good game. And so it's hard for me to sit here and be too angry, especially with the position that the Avs still find themselves in. Like you said, Toronto's 8-2 on a 4-game win streak. They're playing well. Credit to them. Yep. The Avs are still 7-2-1 in their last 10 and 74 points on the season. I can't be
no. We're not going down that road of oh no, everything's imploding. But you do have to take it a game by game basis and just discuss this specific game. And this specific game, I
had some problems,
right? But despite all those problems, I think they should have still came away with the win.
Should have,
even though you gave up that goal in the third where you're down and now you got to battle back, and you did.
Yeah,
congratulations, you did that part too.
Awesome play from Nathan MacKinnon to set up Nečas on that. Yep. Absolutely glorious. So
great. I want to talk about. Let's talk a little bit more about Trent Miner, and then individual players. The hockey stat card from this one is an interesting one, so I'll put that up on the screen. And of course, specifically this overtime, and maybe overall, we'll talk about that too. So a lot more to get to. We'll do all that after this. All right, new year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there has to be a better way, and there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades that you can make. That's why today our episode is brought to you by Quo. That's spelled Quo, and the smarter way to run your business communications, because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. It's no surprise that Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. Make this year where no opportunity and no customer slip away. Try Quo for free. Plus, get 20% off of your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnhl. That is QUO.com/lockedonnhl. With Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. So Trent Miner got the start, 2 in a row for him. And when I first heard it, I think your initial gut reaction is oh, that's a surprise. But then, Bednar said, well, Blackwood's still not ready to come back. And Wedgwood seems like he's just dealing with some everyday bumps and bruises that come with playing a hockey season, and we're into January. So every player is going to have them.
Or some everyday bumps and bruises that come from an Ottawa Senators player seeming like he's trying to intentionally run into you.
Or that. Or that. Could be that. But you couple all that with, you're only playing 2 games this week. And hey, if you give him this day off, he doesn't play until Friday.
Yep.
Okay. And the way Trent Miner played, give him another go. Throw him back out there. So when like I said, my gut reaction was like, whoa. And then because of the, bumps and bruises thing, okay, and he played all right. Put him out there against a little bit better team. You can't just throw these guys out there against the bottom feeders, although that would be nice. They got to get some game time against better teams too. I thought he was okay. You broke it down in the first segment about the 3 goals. You can't get mad at the Brent Burns one.
No.
That's just stuff like that happens. Yeah, and then the breakaway is a breakaway, and then you got scored on one of the elite goal scorers in the league.
Yep.
And the only issue I have is the overtime one. That's the one that I'm sure he wants back.
He does.
Yeah.
Nylander put that in a good spot, though. Like, he did get into, I thought, decent position.
I thought he was in good position. I was shocked that puck went in. I thought he was tracking him nicely and
moved over. And so I think that one's probably like a 50-50. 100% Trent Miner wants it back. He watched that go past him and went, expletive, I wish I could have stopped that.
Bad word. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Expletive deleted. But on the same note, like I said, Willie Nylander is not a bad hockey player.
Oh God.
That's also a good shot. So it is really hard. I thought Miner was awesome. He was in good position all night. Like I said, couple of good pushes back and forth. He was seeing the puck all night. It felt like you can't, like you said, for Brent Burns, how are you going to fault him for a puck deflecting off of your own player's skate? And I actually thought Burns played that just fine. That was just a very unfortunate timing and position.
Yeah.
And you give a little bit of credit to Toronto there. You threw the puck towards the net and good things happen. We say that, I feel like, all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember who it was that was in position for Toronto on that play, but I feel like if it had gotten past Burns' skate, it's probably going in anyway. So that was going to be a tough save regardless. But and I was talking about this with somebody over on Subtext. Just the way Trent Miner's played, and I know it's only 2 games. I know he's played 4 or 5 overall in the season, but these are his 2 starts. And maybe it's a little bit of a reach here, but if you are adding him to this just incredible turnaround from your goalies, and we were saying, like, you can add Trent Miner to it. Okay, maybe you can add Trent Miner to it, and you still have the whole Nabokov factor
on his way up.
It's incredible. It still amazes me the turnaround from it's now over a year ago to now. And I don't want to put too much like emphasis or pressure on like Trent Miner, because like I said, it is 2 games, but I think for 2 games and if something catastrophic happens to the lumberyard, you've gotten 2 really good games out of him. Okay, if one of those guys, and it's happening right now, with Blackwood being out, so he's been serviceable. He's kind of done his job. If it happens again, I think the Avalanche are a little bit more comfortable now because you put him up against 2 teams to bring him up and give him a game if need be. And like I said the last time we were talking about this, you're probably a little bit more comfortable to not have to do forcing Wedgwood or Blackwood to do a back-to-back.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I think these 2 games he's kind of give himself a little bit of a nudge on the bench here if they need him to be there.
And I just pulled it up because I wanted to make sure that I had the numbers here. So last year for Colorado in 24-25, Georgiev, 3.38 goals against average, 874 save percentage. And Avs fans were rightfully so wanting him out. Ruthless. They did move him. That's great. The year before, an 897 and 3.02. So still, you're sub 900 and you're over 3 goals against. Trent Miner has 4 games played on his record on NHL.com. 2.03 goals against average, 0.933 save percentage. Like,
okay. I mean, it's a very small sample size, but hey, you got to start somewhere.
Exactly. And
because if it was the opposite, if he was giving up 5 or 6 goals again, we'd be coming down on that. And over the course of 2 games, we'd still be running that through the coals. But
yeah, if you put Georgiev's stats, even just through 4 games played, and an 874 and 3.8 goals against average in 4 games played for Trent Miner, everybody would be saying, nope, we can't rely on him. He needs to stay in the AHL. He's not ready to be up here.
Yeah.
Instead, we're not saying bring Trent Miner up and he needs to play consistently, but we are saying, wow, we're so much more comfortable in our goaltending. And like you said, it is such a good feeling. Small sample size, but I agree. If for some reason Blackwood or Wedgwood can't go, you're comfortable with Miner sitting behind them on the bench.
Yeah, and if he's got to, be forced to go play a game, okay, let's go out and do our thing. So, it's just nice to see, because he's been there for a little while now, and he's had some bad moments. But I think overall, you're happy with the progression of him.
Yeah.
So,
and if you extrapolate out to all 6 games played, 219 goals against average and a 920 save percentage. I mean, he's still
okay.
That's 2 more
better
games,
than I thought.
still good numbers. Yeah. So it's such a good feeling. We talk about it a lot this season, but it's such a turnaround from
the beginning of last year about it, because I'm still not over it. I'm still not over like where it was. So I'm going to continue to talk about it.
Yeah, and I will too, because it is a big deal, and I've never played, official goalie, but that's the position I like probably the most. So I like to talk about our good goaltending.
Yeah, they're good. All right, let's get our last break, and when we come back, I want to bring up the hockey stat cards from this game. Pretty interesting, and talk about, of course, the overtime issue. So we'll get to that after this. We got Factor, new year, big goals, and somehow even less time to cook. And if you're trying to eat better, but don't want to spend hours grocery store shopping or meal prepping, Factor makes it easy. These are fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs, so you can eat well without all of the work. Factor meals are made with quality, functional ingredients, lean proteins, colorful veggies, and whole foods and healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, and no refined seed oils, just real food that fits your goals, whether that's eating healthier, managing calories, or getting more protein. Head to factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 off. Use that code LockedOnNHL50 off. That's 50 off to get 50% off of your first Factor box, plus free breakfast for a full year. Once again, it's factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 off, and make eating healthy easy with Factor. All right. I'm going to bring up this before we get to overtime. I want to bring up the hockey stat card. It's wild, because usually when you have when you have a good game, you have more than you just have Nathan MacKinnon and Martin Nečas, who had, according to hockey stat cards, great games, and they did.
They did.
You have more guys towards that right-hand side. And for this, it's MacKinnon with was that 4.46? Font is a little smaller. And then Nečas with a 4.22. And nobody else as a forward is over 1.0. Nobody. It's Olofsson on down at 0 point something for your forwards. And you know what I always do? I always kind of just in my head, before I look at these, I always think in my head, okay, I think so-and-so had a good game, or I think so-and-so had a bad game. And I kind of match that up before going, and then I bring up the hockey stat card and see if I'm right compared to what they have up there. and I didn't think Nichushkin would be in the negative, but I thought he had a rough game. And he was the one guy where I'm like, I want to see where Val is on this chart. I was a little bit shocked to see him on the bottom, but I thought this was a rough game for him. Like he couldn't do what he wanted to, what he normally likes to do and play his style of game for whatever reason in this game. I thought he had a rough one.
The biggest takeaway for me from this is we were talking about the Columbus game, and Columbus can say, oh, we shut down the Avs top line and they got absolutely nothing. But then Columbus lost to the depth.
Yeah.
They did not totally shut down the top players of the Avs, did Toronto. And they won.
And they won it
by shutting down the depth, which is kind of a really interesting flip the script there, in my opinion. So yeah, when I saw this stat card, I agree. I was kind of surprised at how close to zero pretty much everybody is outside of 4 players.
Yep. And on your defensive side, you know, you have, and this continues to flip the script from the Columbus game. Kale's up there.
Yep.
And Sam Malinsky, he's at a 1.23, it looks like.
Yep. 1.23.
And then everybody else is kind of like meddling around that 0 number. And I thought, you know, so that's nice to see your top guys were doing what they're supposed to do. And that I think that was evident on the ice. You know what I mean? I thought Martin Nečas played a great game overall. Thought he played a really good game. Because what did he have stat wise? Let me bring up the. I thought he had 2 assists, but he just had the 1. So he had 1 goal, 1 assist. But MacKinnon with 3 assists on the day.
Yep.
Makar with a 2-point day. So he had 1 goal and 1 assist. And those are the only goals on the defensive side, or the only points on the defensive side. So, yeah, weird one from the hockey stock card perspective, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of took me a little bit by surprise, but wasn't surprised to see MacKinnon and Nečas and Makar all being the big positive contributors.
Yet, they were the 3 guys out on the ice when the overtime goal was scored.
So
this seems to be just, you know, it's the power play and overtime. Luckily, only one of those things translates into the postseason, which is the power play. I shouldn't say luckily. It's not luckily. It's, I guess, thankfully, 3-on-3 doesn't transfer over into the playoffs. But do you have like concern? Like, is there any concern here for getting into overtime that you're not winning as many as you should be? Or is it just, hey, we got an overtime, we got a point, and genuinely this does not matter in the playoffs, so I'm not going to make it matter in the regular season?
No, and here's why. I've actually been thinking about this pretty much all day.
Okay.
The biggest thing, and I've said this on this show, I cannot stand 3v3 overtime because I hate this puck possession, circle back, carry it around, really timid. We're not doing anything. It's more important to possess the puck than it is to shoot. The Avalanche got the puck, and the Avalanche shot the puck. Nathan MacKinnon's turnover does lead to the goal. It's not the best turnover. He doesn't play that quite properly, but Nathan MacKinnon goes out there and goes, I am one of, if not the best players in the world. I will go past you and I will score this goal. It's not going to always work, but you know what? I loved him doing it because I want the aggressiveness. I hate the back trailing across the center line and all that stuff. I can't stand it. So I loved this overtime. The Avs were aggressive. And honestly, if it weren't for like 2 hairs off of my head's worth of stick, then that shot from MacKinnon is the game winner without a doubt. But it bounces just perfectly upwards and then straight down on the goal line and out. And it's literally this much of a save from Wool. Like, good job on him getting barely into position. And that makes it sound like I'm being sarcastic. I'm really not. Like, MacKinnon is an insane hockey player. The fact that you got your stick just enough to tip it and stop that from going in, like, legitimately well done. But that is a 1 in a billion chance that you made that save there with that little stick and just that perfect bounce. And then, yeah, we're not even talking about an overtime issue. We're talking about the fact that the Avs won this in overtime based off of their aggressive mindset through that whole period, it felt like. So
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen plenty of it. MacKinnon in overtime is bad. He turned it over, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not worried. It's 3-on-3. I much prefer to see the aggressive, we're going out there, we're the better team, we're going to score this puck mindset. And yeah, it didn't work this time, but I mean, geez, I don't know. I know so many times we've begged them, shoot, don't play around, just shoot. And
I mean, if it never works, does it matter? If that's going to be your mindset, and like I feel like you don't change your system in overtime to get the extra point. Like your system is to go just be more aggressive, and we've seen that the past couple overtimes with them not doing this. Certainly, no, let's just go after it. And I think that's part of maybe just like some like reverse psychology, because I think everybody's used to everyone like just pulling back out of the zone, circling around, and they have let's kind of buck that trend and just go after it. And I think you even saw it at Miner made that really nice save, and it came out to Nečas, and you could tell he wasn't like fully gassed, but I think his shift was over and he just took it up ice and nobody stopped him. So he just went. He just went in. I think it was like a backhanded shot, or maybe he kind of, I can't remember exactly how he shot it, but like it wasn't a shot you typically see teams make in overtime, because everyone is looking for that perfect shot in overtime. And the Avs are kind of like, let's just get a shot on net. Maybe people don't like that, but I think the Avalanche are in the mindset of like, we don't care if we don't get this extra point. And I say that a little bit tongue in cheek. I'm sure they do, but they're in such a position right now where it's like, if they surrender, they only get 1 out of 2 points. Okay. I don't think we're gonna be talking about the end of the season, man, if they had only played that overtime a little bit differently. I feel like they're feeling like, okay, where they are. So maybe they do take some extra chances here. And all of this stuff I am seeing online about Nathan MacKinnon and overtime, fine. If you want to say his record in overtime is terrible, or if you want to say he makes mistakes in overtime, genuinely, I don't care. I really, I don't like the turnover. I will say that that turnover was bad, and I will get on him for not getting back on defense too quick enough, because he will. I think maybe for a split second he forgets that it's 3-on-3, and he's like, oh, I got enough guys back there to cover for me. Oh no, I don't. I gotta kick it into high gear. Maybe because he turned it over, and that split second of him, like, and he probably doesn't forget. I'm just using that as my for my argument. That split second, the guys get the drop on you and you can't catch up to that. As fast as he is, it's tough to catch up to that. And that's what kind of ended this game. I would like to see stuff like that. I would like to see, like, if you do turn it over, turn around, hightail it back. Like, just show me you got defense in you too. But as far as the offensive side of things goes, I have no problem with what he does. No. I don't care. I don't care what his record is. Because what's the alternative? Are we not going to play him? We're going to bench him?
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, partially to play devil's advocate and partially because I do actually think this way. Like you said, 3v3 doesn't matter come postseason, and we're not overly concerned with that point right there. So Nathan MacKinnon not turning it on to go defense, whatever, because typically he has more people back there. I mean, if he carries that mindset, I'm not going to be overly critical of Nathan MacKinnon's defense, because he is not a defensive player by any stretch of the imagination. And come playoffs, if he stays that aggressive mindset and he makes an unfortunate turnover like that, and you've got Taze and Makar or Burns or like extra defensemen out there who are there to prevent that from becoming anything, fine. I have no problem with it. And so on the 3-on-3, I don't like the turnover because I don't like losing games. I can't be that upset at it because it's exactly what I want to see, especially at even strength. And then I also just pulled this up. So Dallas, Utah, Carolina, New Jersey, and San Jose. The first 5 overtimes, all 5 losses.
Mm.
And I want to say it was either after the Devils or the San Jose when I said, I can't stand this possession overtime.
Mm.
After that, I feel like the Avs have been a lot more aggressive on overtime. And then it's win to Vancouver, lose to Minnesota, win against the Rangers, lose to Nashville, win against Vegas, lose to Toronto. So in a 3-on-3 matchup where you're not going to worry about it in postseason, you're 50-50. You win one, you lose one. You win one, you lose one. So the overtime issue, I don't see as an issue anymore. 5 straight was brutal. You can't be doing that.
Right.
They fixed it, and now I have no issue.
And I think that those 5 win or losses just make this argument like difficult, because I feel like that the Avalanche are like, we're going to play this way, and if we split all of our overtimes, fine.
Yeah.
But when you lose 5 in a row, I think like people can point to that and be like, well, that's not okay. And it's not. I get it. It's not. But like, and I don't, you can't say, oh, you can't say remove those 5. I know you can't, but just look at Toronto's power play. Since like the calendar changed, like they're like the number 2 power play. So it's all, what have you done for me lately? You can't say, oh, you can't just say from the beginning of the season. Yes, you can, because that's how they're playing now.
Right.
So, if you want to remove those 5, okay. If you don't like that argument, sorry. But if you go about the season, say like, this is how we're going to do overtime, wins be damned, losses be damned. Okay. We'll take the good with the bad, but this is how we're going to play. And go tell Nathan MacKinnon he's got to go play a different way.
Yeah. No chance.
See how that conversation goes.
He'll throw a helmet at you.
Oh my God. He'll break a stick over your head. He'll throw a helmet at you and then break a stick over your head. Like he's not going to change the way he plays. But again, I think we're split on the defense. I know you say like he's not like known for his defense. I get that, but I don't want that to excuse him to not go do it.
And that's
especially at 3-on-3, especially at 3-on-3.
And like I said, part of my argument was because I do feel this way, but the other part of it was to play devil's advocate there.
Sure.
And
no, I get it. That's fine.
Yep. And so because it is 3-on-3, I'm not as concerned. And I also know, and we all know, once the playoffs start, this magical person who every year we say can't possibly top what he did the year before, tops it and then turns it up another level for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I have no reason to think he won't do that again come playoffs.
No,
so
he's on a roll. So
he is it
is just weird
Terminator.
Those 3 guys are the whole reason that the game got into overtime to begin with. That, like, without them, you don't get to overtime.
Yep.
And then they're out there winning.
And then without them in overtime,
score.
Who knows? Yeah.
Again, that's why this game was just.
And that's why we all know the solution is always put Gavin Brindley on the ice in overtime. Problem solved.
Did he even get any time? I don't remember seeing him.
I don't think he did in the OT.
Overtime again, but I don't. Yeah, why is his numbers gone down? Time on ice.
I don't know.
Like, time on ice gone down. I don't know.
He's made some turnovers, I think, and maybe Bednar's lost a little bit of the faith in him.
Yeah, but you're putting him on the 4th line where and I'm not coming down on those guys, but
yeah,
you had him on the top line. Look how he was playing with those guys. So I mean, he's a product of his environment, and his environment is the other 2 guys on the line.
He was doing amazing. So
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
he's kind of cratered a little bit. So. All right, that is going to wrap it up for today. So we will be back tomorrow. We got a few days off, so we'll probably throw a mailbag out there.
Sweet.
So if you want to join the Subtext, join the Everydayer Club, do that. You can get a mailbag. We do throw it up on Instagram, but the Everydayers get priority. So go join that today. I'll throw the link up there once again for everybody to follow along. Or like I said, it's in the show notes below. All right, it's going to wrap it up. He's Mr. Zach Pearson. I am Chris Micieli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow, where of course you will have made it through another 24 hours. Or if you want to fix that overtime issue, you're that close to Sidney Crosby being with Colorado Avalanche.
That is the fix.